starting?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm betting it's the same thing. The foul supposed on Jonas in the middle like that.
Yeah.
Geiger was that
Jonas's
off the top?
Jonas's
Yeah, like an attacking mid.
yep. And then Trumbull's up top.
I do have a pregame interview with Reed
Okay.
while here. Three, two,
Geiger's on the left.
yes. Three, two, one. Ready? Yes. All right, sweet baby Jesus, please work. That's a good start. Nice. Okay. Check it out.
Coming to you live from Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome inside our coverage of Yellow Jacket men's soccer. Tonight, the conference opener with the Marietta College Pioneers in a matchup that, honestly, this soccer team has really been anticipating all week. Marietta's had a terrific start to the season, 6-2-1 overall. They are not just one of the best defensive teams in the conference, but one of the best defensive teams in the country, and they will pose a really good threat tonight to the Yellow Jackets. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you. Brendan Gulick, Juliana Rubin with you. And look, this is a game tonight that I think the Yellow Jackets need to try and score early, because the way that this 6'6" keeper, Tyler Scholl, has dominated, he hasn't given up a goal all year. They've got to try to shake his confidence early in the game, I would think.
I would definitely agree with that, Brendan. You know, Marietta does have a solid defense, and they've been pretty strong offensively. So what the Yellow Jackets need to do tonight is they need to hold down that back, but they need to capitalize on those opportunities early and quick and get the ball in the back of the net as easily as possible, and then just play solid defense for the game.
Well, rather than hear it all from us, we're going to let you tune in to our pregame conversation. We spoke with Reed Ayers prior to today's game, and he'll get you totally ready to go. So without further ado, Reed Ayers. Marietta coming to town tonight, and so we sit down with head coach Reed Ayers before the Jackets take on the Marietta College Pioneers, who have had a really good start to the season, 6-2-1 overall. Defensively, a pretty solid group. They've only given up 4 goals in 9 games, with 2 pretty good goalkeepers splitting time, but they're not really offensively that strong. Only 12 goals in 9 games. Maybe some of it's because of who they play. But off the top, Reed, I want to know what you try to do against a group that defensively has a lot of momentum.
Well, I think for us it's playing speed, playing tempo, and against Marietta in particular, because they're so well organized, is changing the point of attack quickly. It's going to be key for us to get isolations. We've got to get overloads, and we've got to take advantage of those when we get them. They don't score many goals, but they score timely goals. So we have to make sure that we're not opened up, that we're able to keep things tidy. But yeah, it's going to be for us just really about speed of play.
My most impressive thing, when I look at Marietta, or maybe I should say the thing that most stands out to me, they played Kenyon, who's one of the top 25 teams in the country and historically a good program. And they were outshot 25-5 and still drew a scoreless game. So even when they've given up opportunities, Tyler Scholl has been really, really good. Have you seen any weaknesses on film watching, Scholl specifically in goal and maybe how to beat him?
Well, he's a bigger guy, so obviously the lower the ball is, the better our chances. But he's he's an experienced goalkeeper. He's got a track record of success, so I don't think they're going to give us any. And I think that's the team in general. They're a bend don't break type of team. You have to be incredibly patient, because when you lose your patience and you start going is when you get opened up. So I think for us it's just making him make saves. I think that's going to be a key for us is making him make plays.
We haven't had a chance to talk on the record after the Grove City loss, or I should say the Grove City draw the other night. You went down 2-0 early in the game, but really fought back, and the aggressive attacking style that you played I thought was fun to watch, especially for the fans that were there. What did you like about the way that your guys were able to kind of flick the light switch and start bringing it?
Yeah, it was an entertaining game. It was certainly a very frustrating start. I felt that we had a couple of chances to score early and give Grove City credit. They weathered that storm, and then they came in and scored 2 in the first 10 minutes against us. So I was really impressed by the mentality of the team. They hunkered down and kept executing what we'd asked them to do. And as the game kind of opened up and stretched out, we were able to get a little bit more space. We were able to get it to 2-1, and just kept. I think in the second half was some of the best soccer we played all year, and we were rewarded with a goal. And I think in some ways, very disappointed not to win that match, but I was very, very pleased with the response of our players.
One of the things I noticed right away against Grove City was their size. They were a big team, especially in the back. Did that create problems early on, or did you attribute the goals that you gave up to something else?
Yeah, the goals we gave up were just positional mistakes. And again, you have to be in a position to take advantage of those mistakes. So I give Grove City a lot of credit. But so for us, it's staying tight, staying compact, and not giving away chances. Certainly, within the game, I mean, everybody's going to play a certain style. For us, we're probably more predicated on speed than we are size. I think if you look at our team, man for man, I like our players to be fast. I think the successful programs we've had here at BW, those teams were fast. And so it's a byproduct of, do you want to be really physically strong, physically tall, which is obviously Grove City's approach, and they utilize that well, but they certainly have some skillful players.
Focusing back on tonight's game, Marietta is one of 5 teams in the conference that comes into OAC play having played well. John Carroll, Heidelberg, Otterbein, Ohio Northern, and Marietta have all gotten off to good, strong starts, so they've got some momentum. But you're at home, and I think individually, you mentioned Rafael Davalos and the way that he aggressively played against Grove City. He made a positional change in that game, last time out, where he was kind of moved up in the formation. Can we expect to see something similar tonight?
I think so. I mean, at this time of year, everybody's gotten bumps and bruises, so there's always an adjustment, and I give Rafael a ton of credit because it's not a natural position for him. And when we talked about it, he just went about his business. He didn't pound, he didn't sulk. He went out and he performed at the level that we expected him to. So I think one of the best pieces of this year's group is just guys stepping in and doing other jobs. A guy like Joey Geither has played a number of different roles, and even within the game he'll play a number of different roles, and he just goes about his business and plays well. So I think that's one thing that's really a strength of our team, is that we have versatility. We have good players that can play different jobs. But certainly, and you hit on it, the conference is loaded this year. It's going to be a very exciting month of October.
The last guy I want to ask you about came off the bench late in the game, Ryan Hassel. He took 6 shots, and he didn't see the field until fairly late in the second half, but he seemed like a great injection offensively. Is that typical from what you've seen from him in the past?
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen much of him. He's had nagging injuries all fall. He's certainly a player that his first 2 years was a game winner for us. He scored a number of key goals. he was amongst the leading scorers we had on our team. So to get him back and kind of get him into form, get his fitness back is critical. I mean, it's the more pieces, parts, the more dynamics you have in the attacking third, it really makes it difficult on the opponent. So to have him back going, obviously Raphael, we still have Danny Rupel, who is continuing to score goals at a very impressive clip. It just makes us that much more multidimensional.
Looking forward to the night. Good luck and enjoy it.
All right, thank you very much.
That's head coach Reed Ayers before tonight's game. Juliana, as the teams come toward midfield, anything that Reed touched on that maybe kind of stood out to you?
You know, in the beginning, he definitely talked about scoring on their opportunities and their chances, and they're going to have to capitalize. That'll be the goal. They're going to have to be strong offensively and defensively as well, and they're just going to have to work on those set pieces and, again, capitalize on every opportunity that they get on this very large keeper.
Well, and remember, too, when they played out here last week against Grove City, look, they gave up goals in the 8th and 9th minutes and dug themselves a pretty big early hole, and against a team that plays so well defensively, man, you can't give up goals that early in the game like that. So we'll keep our eye on that and kind of see how things go for the Yellow Jackets tonight. Let's look at the starting lineups. First for BW, they are 4-5-1 on the year. They will play with a 4-3-3 defensive formation. Ryan Asbury in goal. Across the back from left to right, David Elson, J.T. Taubenik, Garrett McHugh, and Jake Woodruff. Jeremy Faust, Bryce Posner will play defensive midfield positions. Timmy Jonas, an attacking midfield spot. Joey Geither, Danny Rupel, and Rafael Davalos across the top, left to right. For Marietta, Tyler Scholl is in goal. He has not allowed a goal this season. Their back line, Zach Johnson, Sebastian Ziaha, Brett Huck, and Noah LaLiberty. Their two defensive midfielders, Kyle Rosselot and Luke Mayer. Three offensive midfielders, Andy Rolfs, Tom Sloan, and Cole Pappas. Robert Phillips up top for the Pioneers. Rolfs leads the team with 4 goals. Tom Sloan has scored 3. Their other multi-goal scorer, Josh Baskind, available off the bench. Marietta 6-2-1. Again, the losses have come at Case and at home against W&J. Those are two pretty good programs. They drew Kenyon. They have beaten Worcester, Wittenberg, Olivet, Adrian, and Hiram. And the only team that has scored on them recently is W&J. In the last 3 games, they've only given up 2 goals, and that was in that 2-1 overtime loss to W&J. So Marietta's the real deal, and the Jackets are going to have a tough test in conference right away. Head coach for BW has been the longtime Reed Ayers. He's in his 15th season, assisted by B.J. Pheasant and Chris Kraft. Joe Bergen, one of the fun coaches in the OAC. He's the leader of the college, or I should say of Marietta College. His wife, by the way, his wife May, it's her birthday today, so hope she's listening already. Happy birthday. Ben Federici and George Threet, the assistants at Marietta. We'll pause for the national anthem, the opening kick, when we come back. Ready to go at Tressel Field with both teams shaking hands at midfield. It is a pretty much picturesque fall night. It was smoking hot all week. You couldn't walk anywhere without sweating. It is 55 degrees tonight, and you can feel it in your fingers and your toes if you are with us in the stands. And if you're at home, well, you're much warmer, and that's probably a good thing. But the wind is blowing from left to right. That's north to south. And we don't have a cloud anywhere in sight with a waxing gibbous moon above us. How about that? Did you know that, Juliana?
I did not.
Waxing gibbous moon. What happens when you take astrology at some point? Or no, astronomy. It was definitely not astrology. Astronomy in college. All right, Jackets are out there with the white tops and yellow stripes. Marietta, thankfully, they've got nice, easy numbers to read on the back of their jersey because on the front, they're next to impossible to see. I think tonight BW wants to try to get off to a good start, and Joe Bergen told me before the game that the thing that most concerns him about the way BW plays is their tempo. He said especially up top, nobody's been able to contain Danny Ruppel this year. He's probably going to get his shots, but if you can at least minimize it or make it tough on him, he feels like that's somewhat of a moral victory.
Definitely, Coach Ayers said that in the pregame interview that their tempo is one of their strengths. And like you said, no one can contain Danny Ruppel, so hopefully he's able to succeed early on tonight and they're able to hold Marietta off.
Well, at least we think nobody can contain Danny Ruppel. We'll find out. Danny's had a great year. 9 goals, 5 assists in 10 games. He basically leads the conference in most categories. Marietta and Navy, we are off and running tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Pioneers on the far side of the field. Noah Liberty missed it out of bounds. Heidelberg and John Carroll right now the top 2 teams in the OAC. And while we don't want to take anything away from Heidelberg, John Carroll really is the top dog at 8-0-1. They are the number 6 team in all of Division III soccer this year. Scholl, the big man in net, 6'6", comes out and grabs it. John Carroll last year won the OAC championship. Ohio Northern, who lost the OAC title, also went to the NCAA tournament. And Ohio Northern had a tough draw as well, but John Carroll got thumped in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They were down at Lynchburg and lost to a good team, but it was a tough draw for the Blue Streaks. This year, John Carroll brought just about everybody back, and they've gotten off to a good start. But it's really a pretty deep conference if you look all the way across it. David Elson working from his left back spot, able to move around Cole Pappas. And he threads one up toward Danny Ruppel before Brett Huck sends it out of, I guess it was kept in bounds. Little Liberty was over there. Taubenek let it slip through. Maybe a chance here for Tom Sloan. Rolfs streaking down the middle, hoping that Sloan can get him the ball. Great move. And a takedown. No foul called. It's a corner kick. Boy, that was almost a bad start for BW because that tackle, at least in my opinion, was in the box.
Definitely appeared to be in the box, and while it's not a penalty, Marietta does have a corner kick, and set pieces are always important.
Cole Pappas will take it. Left to right swinger. Looking for Robert Phillips. It's snuck onto the side of the net, but Phillips looks toward the corner and gives Pappas a little bit of a clap to say, hey, I like where that one was played. Goal kick coming for BW. Just a couple of minutes into the start of this game. Garrett McHugh, who touched it a moment ago, is back, and the Jackets are glad to have him back in the starting lineup. He was nursing an injury. Jay Elderhoff, I thought, played pretty well in his absence, but Elderhoff is not nearly as experienced as the Yellow Jackets have a big chance. Ruppel in open space! Just over the top of the bar. So close to putting BW out front early.
Those are those opportunities that the Yellow Jackets are going to have to finish if they want to succeed tonight. Ruppel had that opportunity, almost an open goal, and he put it right over the top. This is a big keeper. Maybe next time you can slide that in and the Yellow Jackets can get on the board.
That was hopefully not one that BW will look back and just think, what if? Lots of game in front of us. Scholl takes his time. How about the commitment this year from Tyler Scholl? Because Dakota Penquite, who is behind him, came in as a freshman. He's from Blanchester, Ohio, and Joe Bergen told me before the game that Penquite is a really good keeper. As Davalos tries to hold off a defense, ball gets sent away. Penquite likely would have started, but the springtime last year, Tyler Scholl committed to getting himself in shape. Decent idea looking for Pappas up top. Pappas pulls it away from Ellison for a moment and then lost it. And Tyler Scholl, the 6'6" goalkeeper, lost 35 pounds from the time he was in the spring of his junior year until they reported for fall camp here his senior year. And look, he's not going to go, well, he's likely not going to go with a clean sheet all season. That's kind of silly. But he's had a really, really strong showing, and you can point to the guy in the neon green jersey way off to the right out of our camera at the moment. He's the reason why Marietta has been so good.
Definitely, when you're a rising senior and you have some freshmen coming in, that definitely pushes you to work harder. You know that you got to pick it up to get better, but his dedication clearly has paid off.
Sent away with a left foot. Brian Asbury, by the way, back in goal. He's been pretty good too. Asbury and Patrick Mihal have kind of split some time. Here's another chance for Robert Phillips as he lays it off. Mayer pops it back. Nice ball played upfield. Marietta trying to keep it on the offensive end as much as possible. It's not that they haven't been good offensively. They just haven't really had that many great chances. But only 12 goals in 9 games. It's going to be frustrating after a while, and you don't want that to wear on your psyche too much. We're in the 6th minute. No score between Marietta and Baldwin Wallace. Geither's cross deflected up into the air. Mishandled in the middle. And it rolls back toward JT Tomanek. Pioneers and the Yellow Jackets playing on the same field that these two schools played football on this afternoon. BW with a big win earlier today. Into the middle. Good anticipation defensively from Zach Johnson, and he got in Davalos' way. Little chip shot ahead for Geither, but the offside flag goes up. And so far, so good for both sides. Not too much excitement, although Danny Ruppel did have a good chance at a goal. Put it over the top of the bar. That's really the only big opportunity either team has had. Yeah, BW won the football game earlier today, 52-24. Quarterback Jake Hudson, a career-high 5 touchdown passes. A fun game for him. Ruppel leading his way up the field. And his persistence pays off. Oh, it was a nice job, though, by Brent Huck. Timmy Jonas back to Woodruff. Gets a chance to play in front of his parents tonight. Woodruff from generally the Philadelphia area. He went to Upper Dublin High School in Willow Grove, PA. Parents made the trip this weekend, had a chance to meet his dad before the match, appreciated that. Throw in coming once again here in just a second. Woodruff was taken down, but play on ruled. Rolfs lost it off of a Yellow Jacket. Davalos tries to somehow force it up toward Ruppel. Maybe a chance here for Robert Phillips, but not when Tomanek's back there. Very rarely does Tomanek get beat. He is as steady as they come as a center back. Played into the middle, and Davalos heads it out. Good effort by Noah LaLiberty. Ball went out of bounds. Another throw in for David Elson. Looking for Rupel. And a foul called against Danny as he offers to try and help up the Pioneer that he knocked over. That's Brent Huck slowly getting back to his feet. You can see Rupel is playing with his right wrist, which is in a black cast, but it's taped in what looks like a protective green saran wrap, basically, so he can't use that cast as a club. I think perhaps Brent Huck felt that he got nicked a little bit there. Ball's been bouncing all over the place tonight. We'll see if somebody can control it. Oh, that was a great effort looking for Geither slipping through. Kind of a nasty collision in the midfield, and Posner took a minute to get up. Jonas ran after it. Scholl rolls it out. 10 minutes into the game, no score. And Marietta makes a mistake defensively. Tyler Scholl's best game of the year came against Kenyon when they drew one of the best teams in the country. It was a scoreless game. Kenyon was ranked 15th nationally. Kenyon took 25 shots, did not score. Scholl made 11 saves as Jonas reared back and rocked one over the top of the bar. And apparently, 5 or 6 of those 11 saves were just unbelievable. Diving saves, incredible stops. Scholl, in Joe Bergen's words, he said the kid just stood on his head all game. He goes, he was absolutely unbelievable. It was one of the best defensive games he's seen his team not just play this year, but in his entire time as the head coach at Marietta.
And I'm sure when you have a game like that and your coach is able to say those things about you, it gives you some more confidence, hopefully continue
oh, heck
that.
Yeah, for sure. Good effort by Faust, but he kind of slipped as he hit the track. Unfortunately, the track and soccer lines converge really close to each other. Controlled by Phillips, knocked away. BW throws it in. Woodruff being told to move back. It's a short throw. Wallace heads it into a bad spot. A really bad spot. Asbury comes out and makes a stop as Cole Pappas clamped down on it. BW got away with one, and now they're off to the races. Elson slowed up for just a second. Plays it forward, looking for Geither. Jonas rolls one out for Rupel. Danny Rupel with a good, clean tackle from Noah LaLiberty. Was stopped right in his tracks. Nice play. Elson to throw in. Boy, LaLiberty's had a good game defensively so far, and we're only 12 and a half minutes in.
Definitely, that was a great tackle there. And if you look at the field, if you just observe the field right now, BW is kind of squished up in the middle. They're not really stretching the field as much right now. And you have to think if they're able to stretch that field, maybe get some switches and some crosses off, maybe they'll have some more attempts. Because you do see that Marietta, with their attack, stretched the width of the field. And maybe that's helping them, something that BW can look at.
Pay attention to their spacing along the way. Foul against BW, so Marietta gets a free kick here. I wonder how much of that is Marietta's on-ball pressure. I mean, nobody for the Jackets here in the beginning of the game has been able to slowly work the ball anywhere. It doesn't matter where they are on the field.
Right.
Liberty sends it up. Davalos back to Ryan Asbury. And he left foots it out of danger. Jamie Jonas Taps it back. Who's going to step up for BW here early in the game and try to make a big play? Each team with only one shot apiece so far in the opening 14 minutes. Nice footwork by Rolfs, although I think partially may have been unintentional. He almost tripped over the ball. It worked out in his favor. Reed Ayers talked about wanting to play the game that just kind of fit their style. He said, look, when you're able to go out and it's not just so much imposing your will, but playing at the style and the tempo of the game that best suits you. He goes, at least for our group, I typically feel like we're going to win when we play the way we want to play. But if we're lulled into playing the way our opposition attacks, that usually doesn't bode well for us. It just seems like the ball rolls freely away from the net. I mean, on one hand, it almost seems like common sense, but that's not always the case because sometimes you get teams that have similar styles. But the Yellow Jackets, I don't know, I think they've got a lot of speed up top. They've got some playmakers, some kids that can really hurt you if they get an open space. I sort of anticipate this being a low-scoring game.
Definitely with the defense from Marietta and almost the lack of able to make opportunities from the Yellow Jackets, you have to think that it might remain 0-0 for a little while unless someone can capitalize.
Well, we're going to find out soon, one way or another. Chance here for Andy Rolfs. Centering pass finds Phillips, top of the box. He was questionably pushed over by Taubenek. The Marietta faithful that made the trip up from Southern Ohio don't like that our head official swallowed his whistle. Elson tries to clear it away from the sideline. Woodruff attacks the ball, and it rolls away. Today's Yellow Jacket soccer game brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products. They're a global recycling company. By Domino's Pizza in Berea. Call them at 891-0030 or order online at domino's.com. And by the Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage. Build your future today. Looking for Davalos. We've played more than a quarter hour, scoreless so far. As Tyler Scholl comes out, looks like he'll take the free kick. Unless Zach Johnson says, no, I'll take it myself. Scholl says, get out of my way. Hands on his hips. Scholl is waiting for his teammates to get set. It looked like Sebastian Zioha, one of the center backs, needed to tie his shoe. Good move. Tough tackle, though. Throw in coming for Johnson. Loose in the middle. Tom Sloan can't find an opening. Almost a great 1-2 with him and Rolfs. And it goes out of bounds. Marietta starting to earn some respect across the OAC, but it's still been an upward climb for a team that really had to build from the ground up. I know it sounds silly to say it that way as we get a goal kick, but the fact is this has been a program that for a long time just hadn't really been relevant, and they're relevant. I mean, they're very much a part of the OAC championship picture, and they've got a chance to make the OAC tournament if they play well here the next month or so. This is a chance for BW's. Davalos lobs one ahead. Geither on a free run collides with Scholl, and Geither goes down. It's ruled a corner kick as Scholl has to go back between the pipes. Geither takes a moment to get back to his feet. Good hustle by Joey Geither. Timmy Jonas lines up in the corner with Danny Ruppel coming to him. Jonas into the box, headed past the keeper and in! Rafael Davalos, the game-tying goal the other night. This evening, he puts his team on top 1-0.
Those are the types of opportunities that the Yellow Jackets have to capitalize on. You know, all throughout BW soccer, both sides, men and women, they emphasize corner kicks, they emphasize set pieces, and that's exactly why, for when they get an opportunity like that, they can capitalize and get on the board. Geither and Davalos did just that.
How about that? So the Jackets take a 1-0 lead. They're able to beat Scholl on a set piece. Tyler Scholl, who went the first 20 minutes of this game without allowing a goal, eclipsed the 500-minute mark, scoreless, prior to Davalos putting it in.
Talking about Scholl there, though, that was the right move for him to come out and challenge Geither there.
Geither's got a chance to make another one happen. Set pieces against teams that are so good defensively, set pieces can be really critical. And Davalos strikes first. His first goal of the season, tied the game in the 81st minute on Tuesday. And his second goal of the season gives his team a chance to at least breathe a little easier. Just off the top of Davalos' head and out of bounds. You can't miss him. Davalos has the longest hair on the team, although JT Tobanek would try to argue that. Tobanek sends one away. Geither lays it off to Elson. Wow, the Liberty just straight took the ball away from him. Nicely done. As the two battle on that far sideline. Geither, too much on his tap toward the middle. Posner still there. And he was fouled as he was turned off the ball. Foul whistled on Luke Mayer. Baldwin Wallace will take another free kick. This one comes from about 35 yards away from the net.
Ruppel and Jonas on the ball.
Yeah, and both of them have the kind of leg to put it in. Marietta tries to build a small wall, only two guys standing away from him. Jonas takes a rip. Just misses wide right. Not a bad play. Well, obviously the early goal certainly helps things, but how would you evaluate the way this game has gone based on the way you expected to see it go?
I think Marietta is going to start to come off pretty strong and focus on getting that goal as they should, but I also think that they're tighten up defensively, but we also are starting to see them, as they're tightening up defensively and trying to counter Ruppel.
Well, Ruppel's got a chance here, and he loses that one out of bounds.
Trying to counter him, the rest of the Yellow Jacket team, they might get a little sloppy and start to give up those fouls and those penalties that ultimately may hurt them if the Yellow Jackets are able to capitalize. So I think that Marietta has to focus on staying strict and controlling themselves defensively.
Another corner kick. They scored off the last one. Jonas sends this one toward the top of the box, looking for Davalos again. And when Scholl goes up for a jump ball, everybody else just stays away. 1-0 Baldwin Wallace.
The Yellow Jacket defense is definitely going to have to work hard to hold off Marietta here. JT and McHugh have been strong back there, and they're going to have to continue to keep that up.
The Pioneers they'll have some chances. Joe Bergen's group knows, hey, look, we'd gladly give up some of the goals that we've saved to try and score a few of our own. As BW will throw it in. You could see Phillips take just a small spill. Woodruff lobs it in. Nice header. Neither team has gone to their bench yet. Both teams using their starting 11. Although, right as I say that, there may be a couple of Yellow Jackets that are taking off the long sleeve warm gear and starting to get their jerseys on over there, including Ryan Hassel, who came off the bench at the end of the game Tuesday and was sensational. Ooh, that one had to hurt. Luke Mayer took one off the groin, and it rolls out of bounds. Davalos trying to help play a little more possession-based soccer here. We haven't seen too much of that from the Jackets. It's cut off, though, by La Liberty. Lost out of bounds.
It's kind of difficult to play that possession when, both teams are very strong and they're not giving up a lot of opportunities. They're definitely pushing.
Marietta makes their first two subs. Josh Baskin, the sophomore from Solon. He's a Greater Cleveland kid. And senior Josh Albright, who went to St. Francis de Sales High School. They'll both come in. And let's see who headed out for Marietta. Cole Pappas and Kyle Rossela. Goal kick coming. Albright went after it okay, but couldn't get there. Reed Ayers told us that Ryan Hassel obviously is a big piece for them, and they just want him to get to a point where he's 100% healthy. He didn't even come into the game until about the 80th minute or so on Wednesday night. And he still got 6 shots off and was constantly around the ball in dangerous areas. Even though the Yellow Jackets couldn't score, he had a near goal that was controversially called a no-goal. Hassel certainly thought it was in, but the assistant referee, far sideline, said it was not. The Jackets had a 2-2 draw. We didn't really have a good angle to tell you one way or the other, and with no replay, hard to know for sure. Oh, it's loose in the middle, and the Jackets chip one over the top of Scholl. A deflection turns into a goal, and it's Timmy Jonas. Now hold on a second. The officials stopped the clock at 18:55, and they may wave it off. We'll see.
Looks like the AR might have seen something that perhaps the center ref did not catch an eye of. Looks like they're calling it offsides.
Wow. So no goal for Jonas. Tough break. Again, without the benefit of replay, hard to know for sure. But disappointing that the goal was waved off. Although, if he was offside, then I suppose it's probably appropriate to wave it off because he was very offside had he officially been. Truth be told, I was watching the near side. I really didn't have a good angle on it. Either way, it's still only 1-0. We've got about 18 minutes left in the first half. Posner. Oh, great ball played ahead. Ruppel is onside. Danny to the middle. Left-footed strike, and it's a missile! 2-0 BW!
That was a rocket by Danny Ruppel. That was just exceptional skill. He was able to get down the field relatively quickly, get a cutoff, and get around, what was it, 2-3 players, and he was able to get that shot.
Danny Ruppel's 10th goal of the year left a vapor trail behind it into the bottom left-hand corner. Scholl So close to getting his hand on it. But Rupel beats him, and it's 2-0 Baldwin Wallace with just over 18 minutes left in the first half. Danny's had some fun goals this year, but that's pretty high on the list. That was ripped. Mayer, cut off by Tomanek.
It's important that the Yellow Jackets now don't get sloppy, though, and that they continue to try and play possession as much as possible and continue to hold down that back line rather than just, getting it out as quick as possible. They need to continue to play their game.
You certainly can't go into a shell defensively. Asbury grabs it, keeps it at his feet. Controlled in the middle for just a second, and then Tom Sloan kind of lost it. Foul called against BW. That's on Geither. Rupel's 10th goal of the season in his 11th game. And there was no doubt about that one. When it left his foot, it was going to have a chance. Just whether or not Scholl could get his hand on it. Maybe a chance here. Nope. Played away. Rupel, Geither, and Jonas working far side. Marietta has not allowed a team to score more than 2 goals all year. Both of them were losses. They lost 2-1 to Case and 2-1 to W&J. But nobody has scored more than 2 goals. In fact, those 4 goals in those 2 games are the only goals they've allowed all season prior to tonight. About a half an hour into action, BW with a long free kick coming right in front of Marietta's bench. Joe Bergen with his arms folded over his chest, pacing up and down the sideline, probably a little frustrated with Baldwin Wallace's hot start.
Jonas and Rupel again on that ball out there.
They stop the clock at 15:37 as the officials congregate near midfield. And Jonas is being subbed off here. Cole McDaniel, a sophomore from West Liberty, is going to take his place.
Looks like the training staff might be wanting to take a look at Jonas over there as he walks over to their cart where they're situated.
On the free kick. Played toward the top of the box and then knocked away. Marietta would do well if they could quickly counter, but BW's defense retreated quickly enough. You're right, McDaniel in, and it looks like maybe just some athletic training attention on that far side. So we'll keep our eye on Jonas. A lot of throw-ins on the near side for Marietta. Jackets are using the sideline pretty well. Davalos gets a stern finger wagging. That's about it. BW likes to roll when they get full speed ahead. Posner taps it back. That was a right play. Woodruff up to Davalos. Geither looking for a room. And his pass was too direct at a defender. McDaniel over to Rupel. Danny gets hunkered down on quickly. Chooses to lay it back. Into the middle, a great centering pass from Elson. Instead, a low strike from Faust. Ricochets away. And the flag goes up.
Looks like he was just a bit offsides there.
But it only takes an inch or two. 2-0 Baldwin Wallace. Goals from Rafael Davalos and Danny Rupel against Marietta's excellent goaltender, Tyler Scholl. Hasn't been a good game for him today, but that shouldn't take away from the success he's had all season prior to this evening.
Tyler Scholl, though, other than those 2 goals, really hasn't been challenged all that much.
No, you're right. The Jackets are making the most of their chances. The only 2 shots they've had on goal have gone in. Rolfs working on Woodruff. Right foots it ahead, and Elson heads it away. Phillips toward the corner. Wanted the give and go. It didn't come back to him. Long ball played up. Look at Rupel's closing speed on that ball as Marietta's teammates are begging him to get rolling. It's a BW throw in. If you joined us late, you've missed a couple of great goals. Davalos on a header off a corner kick, and Danny Rupel with a left-footed missile into the bottom left-hand corner of the net from high and right up in the box. Scholl aggressively comes out and grabs this one. 33rd minute. Scholl with a booming punt down the field. Another throw-in coming. I kind of like the way BW is playing in the midfield. Johnson. Good spin move by Mayer. The low cross was intercepted. It's a BW throw-in.
You know, you said you like how they're playing in the midfield. I think part of that is the ability of the players to connect with one another and play as a team. You know, last year sometimes they struggled playing as a unit rather than individual players because they are a pretty talented team. They have very talented individuals and they're very speedy, but sometimes they don't play all together.
Well, a turnover in a bad spot might give Marietta a great look. Robert Phillips back into the center and a really nice goal from Luke Mayer. 13th goal of the season scored by Marietta in just their 10th game, but they get on the board. 11:03 left in the first half. Mayer from Phillips. You just can't turn the ball over in the offensive third right in the middle of the field as the Jackets try and regroup.
That happened all too quickly. Asbury didn't even get a chance to even move, it looked like. He didn't even get a chance to set and dive. The ball was just slid behind him too quickly.
JT Tomanek tapped his chest and said, okay, I'll take the blame for that one. It's a 34th minute goal. Out of bounds on the far side. First goal of the season for Luke Mayer. That was Marietta's first shot on goal, by the way. And for the Pioneers, that one gets them much more back in this game. A 1-goal deficit really isn't a big deal until you get pretty late. A 2-goal deficit feels a little bit more daunting.
You know, they always say that
Well, the flag is up there, and Scholl made an aggressive play to come out and grab it, but there was no chance offside wouldn't be called on that one.
you know, they say that the worst score in soccer is 2-1. Because you think you have the advantage, but the other team always thinks that they can come back.
It's true, especially when you have a 2-0 lead and give up that goal to make it 2-1. There's a bad break for BW as it finds its way loose in the top of the box. Marietta couldn't put it in. La Liberty needs a little help. Phillips came to it. Dominic all over him. No whistles either way. Touched ahead. Tom Sloan. Sloan rolls it out far side. And Phillips was tackled. Foul on Dominic. Josh Baskin over there too. And it looks like perhaps Baskin will be the one to take the kick. Marietta could tie the game very quickly here. Well, Liberty also over there with Baskin. Clock is just inside 8.5 minutes now. With the right foot, a swinger into the box, and it's headed away. Great centering pass. They throw in for the Yellow Jackets. It's a good look.
Definitely. Marietta is definitely going to pick up their speed up top and look to capitalize and get one and try and get ahead. Looks like Ryan Hassel's entering the game.
Yeah, he replaces Bryce Posner. And on the other side, Marietta checks Alex Gruss in the game. He takes Andy Rolfe's spot. Remember, in the college format, college form substitutions, so those players will most certainly be able to and very likely will return later tonight. Davalos. Good deflection. Can the Pioneers take advantage? Not immediately. Good work rate, though, from Sloan, and now Baskin. He slides over to the left side and will let his defensive teammate, Zach Johnson, throw it in. Rupel. Johnson. Too much, and Asbury is there. 7 minutes left in the first half. BW 2, Marietta 1. And a poor pass by Garrett McHugh. Ball goes out of bounds. Another throw in.
Both teams definitely battling there to gain control.
Rupel threw it up to Hassel. Ryan Hassel trying to just keep possession of the ball somehow. And he lost it with Sloan coming in. You're right. It certainly has been a battle. Rupel got deeped. The ball's played ahead, sending McHugh into a defensive spot. Robert Phillips. Great centering pass, just a whisker too low. On the backside, can our new sub Alex Gruss make a play? Low Liberties sends one back. And this furious onslaught of offense from Marietta continues. Hard collision. And the foul from Woodruff. Actually, check that. Joey Geither, not Jake Woodruff. Oh, they kind of look alike. All right, Johnson with 4:54 left in the first half. Low right-footed kick, right to Danny Rupel. That was not well struck. And the Jackets trying to quickly counter. Davalos had his jersey tugged a little bit. Well, it's not exactly how BW drew it up, but At least they still have the ball. Sent way too far forward. If you joined us late, I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Juliana Rubin. Baldwin Wallace with a 2-1 lead over Marietta College. Left-footed up the field.
As both teams continue to fight, you see that both are getting more and more physical as the game inches closer to halftime.
Dominic last to touch that before it goes out of bounds. Sure. I mean, I think Marietta really wants that game-tying goal before they go into the intermission. They still trust their defensive prowess. BW really hasn't had very many chances. They've just scored on the couple they've had.
You know, I hate to say it, but last year BW did blow a 2-0 lead against Marietta in the same instance.
Well, let's think about this year.
Yeah.
Guy through in the midfield. I think it's still way too early in the game to be thinking about the end result. There's still more than an entire half to be played, but it is certainly of note as Asbury comes out. Marietta came back last year and beat BW. Takes a pretty strong, consistent effort all year long to find yourself at the top of the OAC standings. Rupel with a good fight. He wins the throw-in. And here come two new Yellow Jackets. Cannon Dees and Jacob Ray both checking in for the final few minutes of the first half. We're at the 2:22 mark. Rupel heads out. Looks like Cole McDaniel also off the field. Two minutes to go. Sloan, oh, he almost pulled it away from three different BW players. Davalos in the 20th minute, Rupel in the 28th. Put BW up 2-0. But a bad turnover and a quick goal for Marietta. Luke Mayer was able to put the Pioneers still within striking distance at 2-1. Davalos got beat in the midfield. This is rolled over to Zach Johnson. Just out of reach for Robert Phillips. That's a good ball played forward. Yellow Jackets with a minute to go in the first half, lead by 1. Can they add one before they go into the locker room? Hassel lobs it ahead. Too far forward for Cannon Dees. On a chilly and still slightly breezy night. Woodruff holds off a Pioneer. Throw in near Dees. .20 seconds to go before halftime. Davalos with 10 seconds. Tobanek just sends it high in the air. That'll do it for the first half. It's BW 2, Marietta 1. Jackets had a 2-0 lead. They give back a goal. I think it was certainly a good goal by Marietta, but Baldwin Wallace feels like they kind of gave it away, given that they turned the ball over. How do you feel about BW's performance here in the first 45?
I think BW and Marietta both came out pretty strong. They're both fighting. BW was able to capitalize on those on those goals relatively early. I think that was the key for them to get on the board was capitalization, and they had those set pieces, which were both really nice. I think that they got a little sloppy and they had that turnover and they gave it up, and after that, I think they might have put their heads down a little bit and lost control of the game. But I think towards the end, both teams back fighting again. I think BW is going to come out strong and realize that they need to take control of the game if they want to hold the lead. I think Marietta is going to come out strong, knowing that they have the potential to come back.
Yellow Jackets with a 1-goal lead. You're right, they have played well enough, but still have some work to do. Meanwhile, congratulations to the women's soccer team who played at Marietta yesterday and a nice 4-0 win over the Pioneers. Jim Whitkin's group continues to play well. So it's halftime in Berea. We'll come back with a second half and some numbers before the start of the second half here in just a few minutes. BW 2, Marietta 1 at the break. Ready for the start of the second half as Baldwin Wallace has played pretty well so far. And the Yellow Jackets will take this 2-1 lead into the start of the second half. Along with Juliana Rubin, I'm Brendan Gulick. What do you think? Baldwin Wallace has gotten off to a good offensive start, but look, they haven't had a lot of chances. They just capitalized on what they had.
Right, I think that they're going to have to continue to play solid in the back and not let Marietta continue to come down the field strong. And that offensively, you know, BW, like you said, they had those chances that they capitalized on, but those were their only shots of the game. And I mean, you have to wonder that because, like we said earlier, that they're not stretching the field as much, and that might be because of Marietta's pressure. But if the Yellow Jackets are able to stretch the field, that might stretch Marietta, and perhaps Danny Rubel can get in and behind the defense for a through ball, or perhaps if they're able to stretch the field and switch and get more possession going, that might switch up the game. I guess we'll see here shortly what Coach Ayers said to them at halftime, if they're going to change their tactics at all, or if they'll continue to just build what they have done so far. But I think that they need to continue to play their game and play at their tempo if they want to hold the lead.
Well, they definitely have looked good. We'll see what the Yellow Jackets have in store. They'll go from right to left here in the second half and start with the ball. Meanwhile, there are a few other games around the conference as the OAC opens play all across the conference today. Heidelberg moved to 8-0 with a 2-1 win at Muskingum, and right now they are the best team in the league. 8-0, and they've only given up 3 goals in 8 games. 2 of them came at Kenyon, who's the 15th ranked team in the country. Muskingum did score this afternoon, but that was it. Ready to go with the second half. Otterbein leads Capital 1-0 late in the first. Ohio Northern has a 1-0 lead on Mount Union as they start the second half. And John Carroll leads Wilmington 2-0 at halftime in University Heights. Luke Mayer scored in the 34th. He's back out there with the ball near midfield. I expect Marietta to come out pretty strong here in the second half. Got a feeling that they're going to come out and try to make a statement early on as the Jackets take the throw in far side.
I agree with that. I think they're definitely going to press pretty hard and try and counter. They're pretty quick up top. They're pretty strong offensively, and when they do have the ball in their offensive third, they try and make the most of it, and BW has to be prepared to counter that.
Throwing over to Davalos. Finds back to Tobanek. Some pressure here from Noah Liberty. And it's out of bounds.
That's a good pass there. Unfortunately, Phillips wasn't able to get a good touch on it.
Upcoming soccer games as one of the Marietta Pioneers goes down, and they are waving on athletic training attention. Actually, I beg your pardon, that is one of the Yellow Jackets.
I think it might be JT Tabernac.
Well, not really able to get a good look with the way he is bent over, so hopefully he's okay. The next home game for BW Soccer comes actually on Wednesday when the ladies will play Mount Union at 7 o'clock Wednesday night. That will be a very good game. Hopeful that the ladies can play well. They've had a good season. By the way, that is Tabanek who's being helped to his feet. There's no doubt that the Yellow Jackets have a chance to, on the ladies' side, really make a big statement in the conference because their good showing so far this year has kind of opened some people's eyes, but they're about to move into a tough part of the schedule for sure.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets on the women's side, I mean, they've been pretty strong in the past 3 years. I mean, making it to the playoffs every year and, you know, unfortunately not being able to get past the semifinals or the finals. But the women definitely have some really strong freshmen on their team this year. And I think if they're able to connect and play with each other and, you know, fight for the same end goal, that they'll be pretty successful at the end of the season.
Tabanek pretty slowly walking off the field. We'll see what kind of tactical adjustments are made here. BW is going to bring Jacob Ray, the freshman defender, back in. Interested to see that Ray comes in instead of Elderhoff, who played the other night and played pretty well. Ray looks like he's playing in a midfield spot. Perhaps Faust is dropping back defensively.
Yeah, it looks like they might have brought Faust back there. Faust does play defense sometimes, so his speed will definitely help back there.
On one hand, you want to protect your 2-1 lead, but you can't rest on your laurels. Throw goes into the middle. Robert Phillips whacks one right off of McHugh. And a throw in for Marietta. Rupel's trying to make it difficult on Brent Huck. Huck was tackled from behind. That foul goes on the very player that just checked in. It's not really what Ray had in mind when he came off the bench. Wanted to get in the scoring column, not on the foul side of the sheet. A couple minutes into the start of the second half, and another really good look for Marietta as La Liberty stands over it with Cole Pappas. It's Pappas with the left foot, looking for the back post, but too strong.
Yeah, just a little too much there, but if it was taken off a little bit and a little bit closer onto the field, that could have been a dangerous ball. The header on that could have ended up in the back of the net.
Short goal kick. BW chooses to possess it up the field. At least for a moment. That was about it. A chance in the midfield and a rocket that caught Mayer badly. Mayer is still down. Play is stopped. I don't need to leave that one up to your imagination. Luke Mayer's going to need a second. It was either Rolfs or Sloan that took the shot, but that was just a rocket. And it caught him in a tough spot. Well, I'm sure he's seeing stars, but other than that, he's okay.
As Marietta plays the ball back to BW to restart play.
Asbury sends it out. I feel like at times this game has almost seemed frantic.
I would agree with that. I think at times neither team has control, neither team is dominating possession. I think it's been split for the most part, and yeah, like you said, it's frantic sometimes. Both teams don't have control, and they're both kind of running aimlessly to just get that ball. It is clear that both teams, though, have that desire and that will to win, which is what's important.
Well, they certainly have that. Zach Johnson pressed up on the left side from his left back spot. Centering cross over the heads of both Phillips and Pappas. It's not necessarily an aesthetically pleasing style of soccer where lots of, short passes are connected and it just feels like it fits on the way up the field. No, it's almost like you're waiting for the other team to make a mistake as the ball just pinballs around all over the field. Sometimes that's how the game goes. Rupel up the field. Pulls it away from Huck. He tried to center it over to Davalos.
Back to Elson. Hopefully the Yellow Jackets can reset. Although Marietta was pressing pretty hard.
There's a little bit of a break. Well, I guess the ball kind of went off the side of his foot out of bounds. BW's come out in the second half a little flat here. See if they can get something going. Geither and Faust working. Pushed off the ball. It's a clean takeaway. Good touch into the middle. Something here for Phillips. Sloan to the far side. Rolfs. Into the middle. A tough shot and a goal. Marietta ties it up. It's Cole Pappas. 2-2. Pioneers and Yellow Jackets. All square 5 minutes into the half.
You know, a minute ago you talked about aesthetically pleasing soccer, and I think that was probably the nicest string of passes we've seen all night. You know, it looked like the Yellow Jackets they got caught sleeping. Something happened, they weren't really paying attention, and Marietta definitely capitalized. They were passing that ball really nice around them, and unfortunately the Yellow Jacket defense just wasn't able to get set and defend that.
Much like BW was down 2-0 to Grove City the other night, and then scored 2 goals and played pretty loose in their aggressive attacking nature the rest of the game. Tonight, it's an inadvertent handball, not called. Ooh. That was kind of nasty. We got a corner kick coming. Anyways, in that same tone, Marietta has kind of taken on the same way and said, hey, we went down 2-0, but we're a lot better than this. And they put together 2 really nice goals in the 34th and 51st minutes. Timmy Jonas delivered on a corner kick in the 20th to give BW their first goal. Can he do it again? With the right foot. Out of harm's way. Well, Liberty pushed off of it. Actually, beg your pardon, that was not the Liberty, but Zach Johnson that was pushed off it. Johnson was kind of out of position after the corner kick. Here's a good chance. Davalos couldn't control it in the middle of the box, or else he'd have had a good look at a clean shot. Woodruff right foots it to the top of the 18. Now Faust plays one in, and it's all Tyler Scholl.
You know, Faust just hit it right there first time, and I think it was McHugh just a few minutes ago did the same thing. And that right there, you know, they're around the 30, around the 40, and they're hitting it one time. And to me, that shows a little bit of panic. That, you know, I know that they had some pressure on that, but they're skilled enough players that definitely could have taken a touch and looked to play feet or get a better cross off rather than just knocking it towards the goal.
I think that's a fair statement. Panic probably has set in a little bit. You give up 2 goals to tie the game after you had a 2-0 lead. It's hard to stay relaxed, even though there are still more than 37 minutes left in this game. Davalos tried to take it away. It's pulled off by Johnson. Goal kick. Elson up to Jeremy Faust. And all the way back to Asbury. Oh boy. That was probably not the best of plays defensively. And it becomes a corner kick for Marietta.
Those are the kind of mistakes that BW cannot afford to make right now.
Garrett McHugh got caught up. And so now Noah LaLiberty will take just the second corner kick of the game for the Pioneers. And they've got a pretty good chance to take the lead here. We're in the 55th minute. Toward the backside of the box and in. Scored by Brent Huck. And off the corner, Marietta scores for the second time in just a couple of minutes. 3-2 Pioneers. It's 3 unanswered goals. Brent Huck with his second of the year.
It's a great kick by Marietta. Great header by Brent Huck to put that away. I mean, not much BW can do there other than, you know, be technically sound in the back and not make those mistakes. They're definitely going to have to fight hard to get that one back because Marietta is full force pressing. They're ready to win this game.
Well, and now they have the lead. Marietta is playing loosely. How about a 3-goal game for the Pioneers? It's the first time they've scored more than 2 goals in a game all year. Tom Sloan lays it toward the corner. Pappas toward the backside. Sloan, top of the box. Turns and rips, and it's off the post and in. A marvelous goal for Tom Sloan. His 4th of the year, and it's a backbreaker for BW.
Brendan, I think this is the Marietta that all season has only led up 4 goals. You know, they're starting to pass the ball really well, starting to play possession in that offensive third. They're really taking control. They're not playing down to BW's level. Unfortunately, the Yellow Jackets, again, they're just caught on their heels. They're kind of sleeping right now. And hopefully they can wake up and try and get these next 2 back.
All of a sudden, the Yellow Jackets have a big problem on their hands. Jonas lost possession. Toward the corner and out of bounds. Marietta with 3 goals in about 5.5 minutes to go from down 2-1 to ahead 4-2. How in the world did that play out?
Watching the midfield here, I mean, it looks like BW's midfielders are kind of playing a little bit back when Marietta starts to make that push forward. And I'm not sure if that's their style right now or if there's a reason they're not stepping to that ball as quickly as they can.
Well, BW really misses JT Tobanek for sure. You can hear some of the frustrated cheers from the BW faithful here in the stands. Loose in the middle. Davalos try to get after it. All of a sudden, this Marietta defense now with a 2-goal lead. 33 minutes left in the game. And they can try and settle into their strong suit. But BW, they just don't give up 4 goals in a game. Not with any frequency. Cole Pappas toward the corner where Jeremy Faust is racing after it.
Marietta just seems much more relaxed and calm, like this is their game now, they're in control, and they understand what they need to do and how they need to play as BW is chasing the ball and chasing the game.
Throw in coming the other way. Yeah, you never really want to chase the game, that's for sure.
We hope that JT Tabernac is all right, and hopefully his injury isn't something too serious, but it definitely appears that his leadership is lacking in that back line.
Yeah, his ability to just kind of solidify things usually helps. Here's Sloan again. Out in front of him. Good job by McHugh. Well, Liberty lays it back to Josh Albright, who's in there. Robert Phillips couldn't catch up with it. Well, this Marietta soccer team is playing with a full head of confidence right now. Pretty impressive for Joe Bergen's group. This is the kind of game they've been waiting for. They've needed a breakout game offensively to prove to themselves that they're capable of winning a high-scoring affair. They hadn't scored more than 2 goals in a game all year, and they were beating teams in very low-scoring contests. And at 6-2-1, they put together a nice resume, but the glaring missing piece was their lack of offensive output. Not tonight. Certainly not in the second half. Kept alive by Rolfs. His teammate bear claws his way. It's Zach Johnson. Marietta wanted a foul. It didn't come. Albright over to Sloan. Now back to Johnson. He beats Davalos to the corner. And a Pioneer throw-in. Less than half an hour remaining with Marietta on top 4-2. Played into the middle. Diving header by McHugh. Well done to get it out of the way. Out of bounds right in front of Baldwin Wallace's bench. You start to wonder when you might see Ryan Hassel come back in the game. Again, that's assuming that he's healthy and at full strength. They need him. Certainly need what he's been able to bring as JT Tabernac stands near the scores table and was kind of pointing something out to his back line. That's a tough tackle up at the top, and it's against Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah, on that far side, you definitely see JT Tabernac getting into the game, definitely trying to help his teammates as much as possible. Clearly, whatever he suffered is keeping him from the game, but he unfortunately wants to be out there.
Wonder if he's got maybe a pulled muscle of some kind. I really don't want to speculate, but you can see that his left quad is wrapped in ice, so I would say his return is doubtful. Faust. Mayer and Pappas working, and a foul on Ray. And now he's going to get a tough talking to. He's been involved in a couple of skirmishes, and the ref has to book him. So freshman Jacob Ray goes into the book. Another young guy who played his high school soccer about 500 feet. Well, actually, he played on this field, but he went to school 500 feet away at Maria Mid Park, just over the visiting stands. Marietta with a 4-2 lead.
That's a good ball played in by Noah La Liberty.
Another great chance. And La Liberty couldn't, rather Zach Johnson couldn't get underneath it.
does look like Ryan Hassel will be rejoining the game for the freshman, Jacob Ray.
Yeah, Ray is coming out. Woodruff went over to the table just to talk with Reed Ayers. And I believe Marietta also made a sub. Robert Phillips comes out of the game. And he's replaced by Austin Flagger, sophomore from Madison High School in Middleton. Ruppel right foots it ahead. Scholl comes way out of the box. They're trying to chip the keeper, and Davalos was offline with that. Jonas tackled in the box. If that's in, that should be in a penalty kick, the way he went down. The referee.
Not quite sure what the ref is calling here.
The referee clearly called a foul, and he's saying he's pointing to the spot right here. Well, that's inside the box. How is a foul inside the penalty area not a penalty kick? Perhaps I'm missing something.
It's an interesting call.
So BW will have a free kick from very clearly inside the penalty area.
It's an indirect kick nonetheless.
You can't kick it in without it going off someone else. To the back post, and Scholl was there, and then the defense popped it away. That's a bad break for BW. And now the Jackets have to retreat. And they better get back quickly as Faust, look at the way he closed down. My goodness. That was terrific defense.
Faust's speed right there definitely saved BW from what could have been another one.
Marietta with 3 unanswered goals, and they've got a 4-2 lead as we get a foul near the midfield strike. Nobody touched it. Went all the way to Ryan Asbury. All right, BW's down 4-2 with under 25 minutes to go. They are in desperate need of something to hang their hat on here because this has been a poor second half for Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets are starting to get going, starting to build some offense, but they're really not making anything substantial to get them another goal. They've tightened up their back line, but that midfield and that offensive line is still not quite strong enough to get another one yet.
Davalos went down. He is slowly making his way back to his feet. Jackets aren't out of it, but they can't waste any time here. Halfway through the second half. The cue plays over, far side. Faust has it deflect out. Woodruff right at Faust's feet. Good ball played over to Elson. And that is off Elson out of bounds.
That was a good little sequence there, though, by the Yellow Jackets, able to switch that ball across. Maybe if they're able to do it a little bit more quickly, they could have moved forward with that.
Davalos in the midfield wants to play it up for Hassel. Hassel will likely win that foot race, and it's deflected off a Pioneer out of bounds.
Corner kick.
Great defense from Zach Johnson. Was able to get his leg out at the last second there and prevent a wide open shot for Hassel. Ruppel stands over the ball in the corner with Jonas walking away from it. Off his left foot, Danny Ruppel. Headed high into the air, then down, and then cleared away by Zach Johnson. And And Marietta just keeps it out of their end. Gaither to Woodruff, and now up to Hassel with the offside flag high.
Great hustle by the Yellow Jackets there. Unfortunately, Hassel was offsides and then came back on to receive that.
22 minutes to go in the game. Right-footed off the official. Tough break for Marietta. Into the middle where Gaither tries to find some help. He's dribbling the wrong way. And he is fouled from behind. It's whistled on Albright. You can start to feel the sense of urgency from BW. They know they got to get going here. 2 more goals on Marietta. Seems like an awfully tall order. Not impossible, certainly. Throw into Davalos.
Good pressure there by David Ellison.
Well, Liberty off of Gaither out of bounds. Sub coming on here for the Pioneers. Let's see. They're taking Andy Rolfs off the field and bringing Josh Baskin on in his place. About 20 minutes to go in regulation. Remember, there's no stoppage time in college soccer, so the Jackets have to score 2 goals before that clock hits triple zeros. Sloan turned around and squared up, but never let it fly. And will Liberty cross the sideline.
Get back, Noah, get back!
Gaither with a slow pass across the middle. That was awfully risky. Faust up to Posner. And the offside flag clearly goes up as Ruppel tried to just chip one over the top of Scholl.
BW knows that they need to score, and they do have that sense of urgency. Unfortunately, their skill is a little bit lacking. They're just kind of hitting it up the field rather than building. They need to continue to build and capitalize on the opportunities that they have, like they did earlier in the game.
So what do they need to do in order to build?
I think in order to build, they need to take a breath almost and relax. They need to continue to pass the ball. You know, we're seeing a lot of first-time passes that are just kind of flying left and right, and they're not necessarily going to players specifically. They need to be stepping to Marietta quicker. Their first touch needs to be a lot better, and they need to pass to feet and look to build in space rather than just getting it up the field.
Well, they could have built something there, but Posner and Woodruff not on the same page. Keep our eye on that the rest of the game. Under 19 minutes to go in regulation. Albright touches over. Pappas releases. Well, Liberty had it stepped in front. Gaither in a bad spot, gave it away. It was Sebastian Ziaha, whose name we haven't said much, but he's played the whole game. Asbury looking to figure out where he can kick the ball up the field here. Ziaha has marked Ruppel pretty well. And the size difference is definitely notable. As one of the Yellow Jackets is slow to get up. That's Posner far side who goes down. Looks like Ruppel wants to take the free kick here. Scholl trying to direct traffic. Ruppel with the left foot to the backside, And it slipped on through.
That was a great ball played by Rupel. Unfortunately, Elson on the backside wasn't able to get a foot on it. If BW was moving a little bit more, maybe they would have been able to knock that one in, or at least bounce it around in the box and give Marietta some danger there.
Marietta has scored 4 unanswered goals after they were down 2-0 with 17 minutes and counting left in the game. Pioneers have a big lead. And they bring on Alex Gruss, the senior from Portage, PA. Tonight's Yellow Jacket soccer game brought to you by the Oswald Company for all your insurance and risk management needs. By Medical Mutual of Ohio, the healthcare provider for Baldwin Wallace University. And by the Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we love to provide our guests. Cleared out of harm's way for a moment with Rupel hot on the trail. Oh, good fake by Faust. See if he can get creative here. Davalos over to Rupel, left foots it high at the 18. Hassel controlled it for just a second. That was really nicely done. They couldn't finish off the end of the play.
That's switching the field, though. That's what BW needs to continue to do, is pass the feet. Davalos was able to get it in the middle, switch it outside. They're able to get a cross off. Unfortunately, they haven't finished those crosses, but if they continue to do that, the more opportunities they get, sooner or later, they'll be able to capitalize on that.
David Elson will throw in a moment. Just about a quarter hour remaining. Elson throws it in. The leaping header deflected right to Tyler Scholl. No one there to try and knock it a different direction. It's a great throw and a good try from the top of the box.
David Elson is definitely a secret weapon with those throws that are almost as long as the corners.
He certainly has taken the majority of them as the Yellow Jackets get caught up, lose one out of bounds. It's a corner kick. Last touch by McHugh, who's admittedly kind of had a tough day. Corner kick coming from Josh Baskin. And a substitution here. Austin Flagger checks out. He was only out there for a short while. Just long enough to get Robert Phillips a quick breather. Marietta on the corner. A second chance. And it's ripped right to Asbury. Nice diving stop. Yellow Jackets still alive. Had they surrendered a goal on the corner, that would have probably been it. Elson fouled as he was pushed off the ball.
These set pieces with the ending of the game inching closer is what BW really needs to take advantage of. They need to take their time on these and really focus on where they want that ball to go and what their runs are going to be.
Jonas, hard, right-footed swinging ball. Davalos and Scholl met at the same point, same time. Keeper wins it. I think if he had that over, he might try to play that more centrally in the top of the box. Woodruff off to the far side. Seems like the clock is just dropping quicker and quicker. Of course, it's not falling at any more quickly of a rate, but every time you look up, you think, oh boy, BW needs 2 goals. And there's only 13:15 left on the timer as it continues to dwindle. Tonight's Yellow Jacket soccer game brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Marietta looking for the game winner. And they almost had it. Luke Mayer just wide right of the post. My goodness, was that close.
You know, Mayer was surrounded by Yellow Jacket defenders, but it didn't really look like anyone were challenging him. They were just kind of standing. Which, with 12 minutes left in the game, you have to start to wonder if the Yellow Jackets are getting a little bit tired and fatigued, and that's why, you know, they're not controlling the ball as well as they probably should be.
Ryan Hassel checks out of the game. Cannon Dees takes his spot. Maybe Cannon can provide a little bit of a spark. BW will take it from anywhere they can get it right now.
Cannon has definitely been getting some good time with the Yellow Jackets this year.
Yeah, he sure has after a good showing last year.
Some more experience this year brings some more energy to the field. Definitely energy off the field from Cannon.
Posner with a really nicely played ball ahead. And they couldn't keep it in. Tough break. Woodruff racing after it. Under 12 minutes to go. Marietta with 4 consecutive goals after going down 2-0 fairly early in the game. 28th minute, BW made it 2-0. Another one that slips through. Davalos pulled off the ball by Albright. Faust trailing. Marietta with no real sense of urgency. They still put it in the middle. That cannot happen for the Yellow Jackets. Tom Sloan was coming in quickly, and he almost had a near certain goal.
Yeah, Faust was able to hustle on back there, but it looked like McHugh just wasn't ready for that ball to be played across. Just kind of lunged at it.
They miss JT Tobanek dearly on that back line. Davalos plays it ahead for Rupel, but Liberty got in the way. A good play by Davalos. BW's next game at Mount Union. They are there on Tuesday night. They would really prefer to go to Mount Union off of a win. Purple Raiders have a pretty good team again this year. Mount Union is actually hosting Ohio Northern tonight. We'll tell you about that one later as Posner misstrikes it. Woltak will give you an update now. Ohio Northern has a 1-0 lead against Mount Union with just under 8 minutes to go in that game. Otterbein leads Capital 1-0. They're in the final quarter hour of play.
Looks like Marietta might have just made a sub.
And the clock stops for a moment while the Pioneers flip a couple of new players out there. John Carroll's beating Capital 3-1, by the way. John Carroll currently ranked 6th in the, 3-2 after Wilmington scored just a couple of moments ago. John Carroll currently ranked 6th in the country by D3Soccer.com and the U.S. Soccer Coaches Association. Blue Streaks are unbeaten, but Wilmington's giving them a good run tonight. Faust looking ahead toward Rupel.
BW, again, definitely that sense of urgency, but also that sense of panic, and they really need to just control it if they want to get those 2 goals.
At the 9-minute mark, remaining in the game. Good move by Andy Rolfs.
Countered by persistent defense from, looks like Jeremy Faust over there.
Faust never really seems to be low on energy. He's always moving, and I think we're going to get a booking for Marietta. Joe Bergen not particularly happy. I have to admit, I don't know if it's on Rolfs or on Zach Johnson, but they were both over there. I think it's on Rolfs. Whatever the case, with 8:32 left in the fourth quarter, or in the second half, it's 4-2. That's what I was trying to say. Played into the box. Kennedys mounts the attack with Geither off and running. And Ruppel is offsides.
Looks like the referee, though, has called a foul.
Foul on Marietta.
Just past the halfway mark.
Wow. Well, Ruppel was definitely offside. That's why the flag went up initially. But foul on Marietta gives BW a chance at a free kick. Dees goes far side with under 8 minutes to go. Into the middle, looking for Ruppel. Just off target. Woodruff plays it back over. Dees keeps it alive.
Good cut by Dees.
Elson off of La Liberty. A turn and a shot from Posner is wide left. And with under 7.5 minutes to go, BW still trails 4-2. Baldwin Wallace has only taken 4 shots on goal the whole night. They have been caught offsides 7 times this evening. Marietta 0 offsides. They have certainly taken their chances, but BW has tried to play a lot over the top. Like this. Dees unable to outrun the defense. They keep it alive at Dees' feet. Davalos back toward the corner. Onside. Still in play. And now a corner kick. Under 6.5 minutes to go. Ruppel will take the corner. Kennedys over there too. Ruppel puts both arms in the air. Short corner, he gets it back. And a throw-in coming for BW. Elson will throw it in because of his ability to get it deep into the box. Here it comes. Dees heads it. He's knocked over and is still down on the ground.
Looks like Scholl might have just knocked Dees in the back of the head there.
Clock stops at 5:47. I'm certain it wasn't on purpose, but as a keeper, you have a chance to hold your ground, and Cannon Dees got knocked in the back of the coconut.
Props to Cannon Dees, though, for challenging Scholl. You know, Dees is most definitely not quite the size of Scholl there, and he was able to go up and, you know, make a run for it. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way, but he definitely challenged for it and showed some energy.
Dees has to come off for a moment. Anytime there's a head injury, that is taken very seriously. He was checked out by the trainers, I should say the athletic trainer, quickly. Appears to be okay. And he'll wait to come back on. Under 6 minutes to go, and the Marietta Pioneers still have a 4-2 lead. BW throw in a impending 5.5 minutes to go. Throw in comes to Dees. Out of Geither's reach. Posner does a good job keeping the ball. Snuck through for just a second. And it just caught Ruppel flat-footed.
Just unlucky there, really.
Under 5 minutes to play, and with the Yellow Jackets down 4-2, you wonder if maybe they send an extra man forward here. Losing by 2 or by 3 really doesn't matter. But they might try and force everybody ahead to grab a third goal if at all possible. Ball stays in play. Looking for Pappas. Cleared away. Headed toward the top of the 18 and out. Good deflection. Falls BW's way. Huck couldn't get it out of bounds.
Great hustle by Joey Geither on the right side.
He kept it in, but his teammates went behind him closely enough. And the Jackets turn it over at the 4-minute mark.
Marietta still going strong, searching for another goal to finish the game.
And a real team effort tonight for Marietta. 4 different guys have scored, 3 different guys on assists. So 7 different names will appear in the final score sheet, at least at this point. Maybe another goal coming, and it is. Marietta adds a 5th late in the game. Sloan and Pappas both there. I think it's a goal for Tom Sloan, the way it came in. It is credited to Tom Sloan. That's his 2nd goal of the game, and he will probably be our man of the match. Clock stops at 3:25 as the Pioneers add a 5th.
Marietta still playing strong, finishing the game as strong as possible. And the Yellow Jackets, you know, they're just caught flat-footed. They're caught sleeping. Unfortunately, they weren't able to bring back that energy this second half, it seemed like.
BW sends it forward. Headed toward Danny Ruppel. Dees lays it off. Centering pass. Deflected on. 3 minutes to play. A little chipper ahead.
Marietta just powering down the field.
Another shot attempt past Asbury. Under 3 minutes to go. 2 goals tonight for Tom Sloan. Now takes the team lead with 5 on the year. Posner bumped off the ball. And the official doesn't like the fact that Davalos took that 5 yards ahead of where it should have been. Jonas. Good, strong kick, but right at Scholl, who waited for it. Jonas has a great leg. Scholl way up in the air. Pappas heads it over. Alf's trying to pour salt in the wound. Sloan back out to Pappas, and he'll just retreat with the ball. Trying to play keep away with under 2 minutes to go. Joe Bergen's Marietta Pioneers are going to improve to 7-2-1 on the season. And this Marietta club is showing that they are very much to be taken seriously in the OAC. They will go to Muskingum on Tuesday night.
Marietta tonight showing their physical and mental toughness, you know, coming back from behind and then scoring 5 unanswered goals speaks to their mental ability, their ability to, you know, stay fit throughout the game and keep their head on right.
Under 60 seconds to go as Robert Phillips has a chance. And he sort of slows up with sportsmanship as he pulls it into the corner. Certainly not trying to show anybody up. But Phillips goes down. Clock is under 1 minute remaining. He tries to quickly come to his feet. 35 seconds to play.
Marietta is just going to take their time here.
As they should. "20 seconds to go. And the Pioneers are just going to hold it. So Baldwin Wallace had a 2-0 lead, and they had it pretty early in the game, all things considered. They will not find a way to win the game tonight. Final score, Marietta 5, Baldwin Wallace 2. Juliana, any final thoughts?
You know, it's a shame that BW came out, relatively strong. They scored 2 goals in the beginning, 2 really nice goals nonetheless, and they weren't able to hold Marietta off. Marietta, on the other hand, had a great performance, in my opinion, tonight. They were equal with the Yellow Jackets in the beginning of the game, but they saw that they were down. They saw the opportunity that they needed to come back and win and show everyone what their stats have been showing thus far this season, and they did just that with 5 goals. For the Yellow Jackets, you have to start to think if this is a trend, a pattern with the Grove City game the other night, winning 2-0 and then drawing them 2-2. Maybe Coach Ayers and the rest of the staff, they need to sit down with the team and talk about what they need to do. Maybe it's something in their mentality or, fitness that they can't hold off the team for the full 90 minutes.
Hopefully tonight is just a flash in the pan for BW. Marietta, a banner night of their 2017 season, a 5-2 win. They go to 7-2-1. Baldwin Wallace falls to 4-6-1 on the season. For Juliana Rubin, I'm Brendan Gulick. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll have coverage of BW's next men's home soccer game on October the 6th. That's coming up next weekend, 7:30 against Wilmington. Have a great night, everybody.